21. I'm Mayor Chris Martin calling to order the regular session of the Logansport Board of Public Works and Safety. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Here.
Here. Here. Start with the approval of minutes for the April 21st, 2021 meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Call for question.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Collinsworth?
Yes.
So we go into the approval of claims for $612,923.25. This includes claims of $280,573.32, payroll of $223,311.21, police pension payroll $40,740.13, fire pension payroll $64,099.89, grant claims of $948.70, and tip downtown $3,250. I'll make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Collinsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
All right. Any public comment? Anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment, please come to the mic. State your name and address. Seeing none. Old business, there is none. New business, electrical licenses for Dan Klein, Dennis. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought my comment would be heard at the end of the meeting.
Oh, do you want to wait till the end?
It doesn't make me any difference.
Yeah, okay. If you want to come out now, we can do it now, or if you want to wait till the end, you let me know.
I'll switch to the end.
Okay, all right. Electrical licenses, Dan Klein, Dennis Kurtz, and Doug Owens, doing business as Jimco. All the proper information has been submitted. So I'll make a motion to approve the electrical licenses for Dan Klein, Dennis Kurtz, Doug Owens, doing business as Jimco.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Mayor Collinsworth?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
All right. Police Department, Chief Yank, new standard operating procedures.
We submitted a SOP, or standard operating procedure, for pregnancy and maternity policy. Pregnancy and maternity policy is attached to this to the Board of Works packet. It's been ran through Mr. Lehman's office, and his staff approved it. So we'd just like to add it to our SOP.
Travis, to be commended for staying on top of this stuff and being ahead of the curve on all these various issues. This is not the only one, but there's several of these kind of things that are being done and looked at and added to the book. So,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we appreciate you staying up with the times. I'll make a motion to approve the new standard operating procedures.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Terry?
Yes.
Mayor Collinsworth?
Yes.
All right, and Chief, you have a request to hire?
This letter is, that we submitted, hoping you guys accept it. It's for the hiring of Marcus Record. Marcus is a Cass County resident, currently resides in Logansport. He is a 2014 graduate of Logansport High School. He's attended IUK. Most recently, he's been employed with the Dillon Group as an electrician. Marcus has passed all the requirements of Logansport police hiring process. He's been given a conditional offer of hire, which we've been setting off a while due to the police academy being closed. With that, he's also been accepted as a member of the 1977 Police and Fire Fund with the Indiana Public Retirement System. And I'd like to make today's date, April 28th, his official hire.
All right, Marcus, do you have anything to say? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm just excited to get started and start this. So.
Fantastic. All right, we'll do the swearing in after. I'll make a motion to approve the request to hire Marcus Record or record? Record. Effective April 28th, 2021.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to bring up, like, you check to make sure financially you're going to be able to do this without budget constraints?
Correct.
Okay, because according to what I've looked at, I don't see where you're going to have enough money to cover all your salaries.
Well, we talked about this back in September before we even did the budgets, and now you've done it to police and you did it to fire last time. This is not something we just sprung up on the city. I talked to the mayor about it, and this will be our 42nd officer, our 41st. The school pays for the 42nd one. So I'm not sure why we'd be discussing it here in a public meeting and not prior to. So when we did our budget, we budgeted for those people that left last year, which would have been Officer Wagner and Officer David Pierce.
And I would also like to point out that these packets are sent out on Monday. So if there's a problem with this packet, for anyone that receives it in an email, needs to appropriate those questions before a public meeting to the mayor's office. There is no reason whatsoever to ever do this in a public meeting. You are out of line, Dwayne. Out of line. You should have come to myself or the chief before you went to a public meeting and did this. You were out of line.
I'm sorry, I thought transparency was part of what we were.
Yes, and transparency would be questioning the mayor's office before a public meeting. You do not come to a public meeting and do this. I'll make a motion to approve, again, the request to hire Marcus Record.
We have a motion in a second.
Call for question.
Please, Terry.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Dave Collinsville.
Yes.
Sick of public safety being treated like this. Sick of it. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Marcus. Welcome to the team. Street Department, dumpster requests, 1005 East Broadway. This is to clean out the property.
Yes. Yeah, and there's no other options. They don't have any place on their property they can put it.
Fantastic. I'll make a motion to approve the dumpster request for 1005 East Broadway.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Dave Collinsville.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Please, Terry.
Yes.
All right, dumpster request for 3123 Summit Avenue.
Same situation here. They have a privacy fence up around the backyard. There's no place to put it other than on the street.
Perfect. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the dumpster request for 3123 Summit Avenue.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Please, Terry.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Dave Collinsville.
Yes.
Request for sign, historical marker, the sign to indicate the location of Lock 24, a Wabash and Erie Canal lock, which flowed through Logansport, Cass County, Indiana, from 1838 to 1875.
Yeah, this was requested by Don Conrad, and I'm not sure if they have the sign yet or they're ordering it, but they're paying for it, so I don't think there's any problem there.
Police chief is okay with us too? Is there a reason why we have to ask the police chief for the historical marker?
I mean, it's just, yeah, because it's on.
He was
Putting a sign on it.
It's over there, so. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the request for sign historical marker.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Dave Collinsville.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Please, Terry.
Yes.
Street closure request, All Saints Catholic Church to replace the clocks in the tower. This was from last week.
The one from last week, All Saints has agreed to allow to move it over, and the outriggers, 2 of them are going to be on their sidewalk, and we'll leave a lane open now.
Perfect.
We may have to place maybe no parking signs along the curb on the south side of the street to make sure there's plenty of room for people to get through there, but it's a 1-day process, and we're keeping a lane open.
Perfect. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the All Saints Catholic Church street closure request to replace the clocks in the tower from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on May 6th of 2021.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Jake Collinsville.
Yes.
Lisa Terry.
Yes.
Mayor Martin.
Yes. Street closure request for tree lancers, tree removal for the 30th of April, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, this is not an ideal location to close it, but there's really no way around it. It's right there on Main Street between the muffler shop and the fire station. There's 2 trees right there on the tree lawn, and they went down, and it's just a safety issue to keep it closed while they're cutting and moving it. And it shouldn't take them that long. Like it says 9 to 3, I believe. It shouldn't take them that long to get down.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to approve the tree lancers tree removal for April 30th, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Chris Waterman.
Yes.
Lisa Terry.
Yes.
Jake Collinsville.
Yes.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony.
Parks and Recreation monthly reports, park and golf mileage report for March of 2021. Jan? Good morning.
Good morning. Today is our first golf outing. We're excited.
Oh yeah, that's today.
You probably were your tweets with you, did you?
No, I didn't.
Anyway, we're excited about that, and that's supposed to help us help pay for the possibility of a marketing study for the clubhouse and whether it's prudent to move forward with a new one or remodel the one we got or whatever. So we have a full slate of people there, which is really exciting, and I think we have 6 corporate sponsors, which is amazing. So I'm pretty excited about that today. So and thankful that Kyle Smith from Gundry Funeral Home took on the task of chairing the event. So he's really done it. So I'm excited. Going through my monthly report, just a couple of things I just wanted to point out that we did finish the McHale Complex Kitchen, and we are having an open house tomorrow from 4 to 6 there, just so people can have a chance to look at it before they have to rent it. So we sent out lots of invitations to prospective renters and people who have rented and community officials that are might be interested. So we're excited about that too. Then I wanted to also tell you that each shelter in the parks now has a kiosk that will include who is actually renting that pavilion that day. Because one of the issues we have a lot of is that people will go in and just start having their party, and the next thing they know, somebody's coming in to, I rented this pavilion, you have to leave. And so if we communicate, I think that's the big thing. We communicate ahead of time through this kiosk that maybe people will pay attention to that and not take that shelter and cause a bunch of trouble. So that's one of the things we're doing. You'll see those at every pavilion in our parks right now. So our staff made those over the winter and so it looked pretty sharp. We also, the other thing that we have done to help kind of reduce the unsightliness of the parks is putting on a new trash can lid on a lot of the trash cans so that not only can it keep the trash inside, it reduces the idea that just anybody can dump any trash anywhere they want to. They're not going to be able to get that trash through those things anymore. So that was one of the big issues we had last year, people dumping their personal trash at the parks. And so we hope that helps with that. The restrooms are all open and running just fine. We only had maybe 1 or 2 incidents of vandalism at Riverside yet. So. Anyway, and you'll see 4 cornhole structures now at the old horseshoe pen at Riverside. And LHS softball will be taking over the Mulehausen Park ball field for this next month and a half. The Easter egg hunt was a success, and we're excited that would work out as well as it did. We are pursuing tennis and junior golf and swim lessons for this summer, and those are all online. You can do that now. Dad and daughter tickets are on sale. I think today's the last day you can sign up if you want to do it. And then I think we have everybody filled, our positions all filled for the summer, except for a recreation assistant. The rentals are coming along nicely for this year. You'll see from the golf course that we're having an exceptional spring. The weather has a lot to do with that. So, and then our mileage is pretty much just generally what it always is. Certainly more of it, I guess, because they're getting out and doing stuff more.
That's great. Great. So the coal fountain, we're looking at.
I tried to get a hold of this guy to see. I don't know what his time schedule is. So I haven't seen his invoice for his materials yet too. So, but I tried to get a hold of him a couple times this week, and I'm hoping to hear from him soon.
Sure, because I think we kind of brushed over the contract a little bit, and I think it said May 1st or May 2nd.
Yeah, it was supposed to be done by May 1st. That was our goal.
Okay.
And but we had some delays in the contract itself, so I know that he was probably not sure quite what we were doing and didn't get us on his calendar like he was done. So
Sure.
Anyway, but I am working on it, trying to get him here as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec monthly reports and park and golf mileage reports for March 2021.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call the question.
Dave Collinsworth.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
All right. Code Enforcement Weekly Report. Jamie?
Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
We have 3 violations issued, 1 violation is cleared. No abandoned vehicles, and 4 first notices of weeds and mowing, 1 of them cleared by the property owner, and no requests for property cleanups. Anything else you want to add?
I know a few of the other ones have been cleared since I made the report, so looking on next week.
Fantastic. All right. I'll make a motion to approve the Code Enforcement Weekly Report.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Lisa Terry.
Yes.
Chris Martin.
Yes.
Dave Collinsworth.
Yes. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Jim.
Any public comments? Anyone who would like to make a comment, please come to the mic. State your name and address for us, please.
My name is Linda Gordon. I live at 1208 Michigan Avenue, Logansport. It's come to my attention, and it's really hard this past month, that there are a lot of issues out here. It's not just with the pound, which is really doing a good job with the limited amount of funds that they have, but we've got an animal problem in this town, and I don't think anyone truly realizes it until it happens to them or it's in their neighborhood. And when you call once, you call twice, you call 3 times. You have to take an animal back 12 times, which is a pit bull, which I'm not afraid of animals. I've returned the dog 11 times myself. Yes, and it's jumping my fence, and I have an 8-pound Chihuahua, which makes a big difference with the pit with an 8-pound Chihuahua, let's face it. I have a fenced-in yard for 30 years. Get my kids in, my animals in. Your dog's out, your kid's out. And that sounds very rude, I know, but that's the principle. But this is an ongoing situation, and it's to the point, and summer's coming on, I can't even let my animals outside because I have to leave them in the house unless I'm outside with them. But I still have a life, and I like to do things. So, and I have called the pound and they've been wonderful, but I have to say, I was here at this meeting today and I've listened to all these money figures that are going hereby and everything. I really think that when I went to try to solve my problem, I went to the pound, I spoke with him several times, I went to Officer Heisman and spoke with him, and I found out some things that I think are disturbing. We have an animal, and this is not a slam to anybody. Please understand that I know we have a problem, and that maybe it hasn't been brought to everybody's attention, but I'd like to help fix this problem, not sit here and complain about it.
Sure.
Okay, let's make this perfectly clear. They don't have enough funds to begin with, but when we have an animal warden, an animal control officer, who I know is getting paid, and I don't even know who he is, except his name, maybe. When we close the pound at 4, but gee, I don't think dogs can understand or read that I can only escape between 8 and 4, and after that, it's okay. Not so. So when I called the pound at 4, and I called dispatch, like I should have, and I was politely told that I had to hold the dog Friday night till Monday. Are you kidding me? Now this is not acceptable. And I know this, I'm only one person in this city, but I know that I drive around the city too and go places. I see dogs running all the time. So I'm not the only person with the problem that everyone has kind of like closed their eyes to.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying to me and it's aggravating. I don't want the dog hurt. I don't want to walk out in front of my house because I do live on Michigan Avenue, which is Highway 25. I don't want to see an animal hurt or killed. But I also don't want it in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
But we have other issues in the neighborhood, and I know you know the neighborhood I live in.
Mm-hmm.
There are younger people moving back in there with children. I chased that dog, and I'm an old woman, 70 years old, chasing a big pit to get a hold of him so he wouldn't go after anybody else. Now, he's not aggressive now, but he's getting more aggressive when it comes to jumping other people's fences and doing these things. I don't know. I'm not a dog authority, but what happens one day when he hurts a child because he's an older lady? We have older people in our neighborhood, we have younger people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safety issue to one with. And secondly, my old brain says to me it could be a liability issue. And I think it could come right back on the city of Logansport, and I don't think we have the money to face that kind of liability. So, what do we do about my problem?
Well, you're in Ward 1, so your council member is Dave Morris.
I went to see him, but he was not home.
Okay. He's really good.
I know Dave.
He's really good with listening and stuff, but he needs to know the problem too, because council is the one that ultimately decides the budget with the mayor. So, we have been working with the chief and the assistant chief and the animal control officer on trying to figure out how we can put in another part-time even, just a part-time extra help to help out. Unfortunately, that wouldn't still happen until next year. So it wouldn't even take effect until January 1st of 2022.
That is really not acceptable.
But what we can do, though, is if we can get council, this information and let them know, maybe we can come up with a game plan to possibly look at contractual services to be able to have somebody for the rest of this year that we can contract out, to be able to call on. Unfortunately, this is an issue that is not new. This has been going on for years.
You're right.
This is not new. So this was before our administration even took office. And for some odd reason, just has not been handled. And so, obviously, being in this position and hearing it constantly, council's aware of it too. We've had some issues before, a couple months ago, maybe 3. So we're aware of the issue. It's just trying to figure out how to solve the issue. And the only thing that I can think of is contractual services to be able to call on someone until we can hire someone part-time in our budget for 2022, which is the extra help, which is what the animal control needs. We're relying on one guy to work 365 days a year and 24 hours a day, and that's not acceptable. I don't know anyone that is told, hey, you need to work 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. That's extremely unacceptable in my opinion. So we need to figure that out. And part of that is giving him help. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out how do we help the current animal control officer with the hours, so there's more help out there. So there's not just 8 to 4.
I have a question. When I also did some checking, and I'm not disputing what's going on here. I'm not questioning what he does, but I find it terribly difficult to believe that he's answering calls on 24/7. The situation that we have here, and I realize that the city pays his salary, or their salaries, whatever it might be, and the county furnishes the vehicle and the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, and I'm sorry to say this, it kind of reminds me of the county home right now. Half of one, half of one. Everybody wants to talk about it, but nobody wants to do anything about it. And I would really like to be part of the solution. But when you're saying to me, you don't want to work 365, I understand that, and I wouldn't either. But if you look back on the record of how many calls this person has made after 4 o'clock, I don't think he's being overworked. I really, really don't. And on top of that, hiring another person, I guess my question is, I expect at a public record what his salary is. And this isn't about him. This is about an issue. Please let me make this perfectly clear. It's about an issue. It's not about this man. What does he do when he's not on calls from 8 to 4? Can anyone tell me? Do we know a job description? Do we have a contract that states this is what you need to do, you know? And as many times as I have taken this particular animal to the pound, you'd think that he might have contacted me and said, gee, is this problem solved? Because in all honesty, the answer that I got from everyone else, and I realize everyone's doing what they think their job is, but something is not right here when you have 3 different entities of people saying, well, there's really nothing we can do about this for a year. I don't want to lock my animals in the house for a year and be outside with them 24/7, or watch my neighbor lady who happens to be 80, the other one who's blind, get knocked down and get hurt, or a dog bite a child. That is not acceptable, period. And I don't care where you live.
So Linda, let me ask you this. When did this just start up? I mean, did this just start happening a couple months ago, or has this been going on for a year or two?
No. This just started about 3 weeks before Easter. But it's not just me. I mean, I'm the one who's here today because I spoke with all my neighbors about it, and I don't want to drag all my neighbors in because we all work. But if need be, I can get a notarized letter from all the neighbors, and we can all have a right fit. But that's not the point. The point is we really need to do something else if it's about his salary or his job or whatever. And I have to say, because I've been probably a regular visitor at the pound these days, that I don't know what to do after hours, except I do know someone, I call them, and they take the dog to the pound. And the young man, and he works at the pound. He comes over because he knows me, and he gets the dog, and he takes it over there. And that's on his time, and he's not getting any paid. And I see where, and I heard you say, well, we want to hire outside help. Well, if we want to hire outside help, why wouldn't we go inside? This is just a broader question. Internally, this young man probably doesn't make a whole lot of money either, because I know that there are constraints on the pound, which, I have to say this at this point in time so you just know exactly where I stand. I think when the whole thing was set up, the pound kind of was set up with a failure, it was just a thing to get done. And it was set up for them to fail because safeguards have not been put in place for years. It's not a blame thing. It's just the way I see it because I've done a little homework too. And I think that's deplorable. But if we're going to hire somebody, why wouldn't we consider hiring more internally than have to get somebody else completely?
Sure. Yeah.
And I know there are issues because my daughter lives in Galveston. There's a nasty dog that lives behind her house, and I just found this out last night that they actually called the sheriff's department to come get the dog because it's hostile. Because our animal control officer, it was after hours, again, and but it was a lady officer, and I think that, from what I was told, this is secondhand information from my daughter, she was her, I'm just repeating this, that she said the officer couldn't even get out of the car, that she did back the dog finally with her vehicle into the place, but she couldn't even get out of the vehicle, so she drove off. I understand her point. I wouldn't want her bit. I don't want anybody bit. But that still doesn't solve the problem. And this problem needs solved.
Sure.
Not in 2022.
I would just like to say for the record that I am the director at the Humane Society, and obviously what she's speaking about is nothing new. This is just someone who's coming forward. We have this problem a lot. I think that since our animal control officer has a job description, and I'm just saying that's recent, and it's a good thing, and we're all communicating and doing the very best that we can. My suggestion would be that we create some kind of a committee so that we can actually look at this, get some of the neighbors involved, not just in her neighborhood, but people who come in with these issues all the time. I can't solve a problem in the county, but obviously there is a problem in the county, and you officers can't solve the problem in the county. Raise your hand how many times you've had to go out and do a dog issue on the weekends or evenings. You do. We all love animals, and we don't want animals to be hurt. We don't want children or families to be hurt. I think it is a community problem that needs to be addressed, and I would be willing to help chair a committee to look into this, to figure out what it is that we can do. I know, our financial situation at the shelter, we have we can barely operate. But if there's a way to get the community aware of it and get more buy-in, and as we do move forward with a contractual approach, perhaps, and county involvement, because it's not, the dogs just don't live within the city limits of Logansport. That's all I can offer. I have no idea what you gentlemen think would be best going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, we can't, it's not one of those things to where, hey, we're just going to solve the issue here because we don't know. And until someone like you comes forward, we're just hearing it secondhand too. You know what I mean? So we need more people like you to show up. We need your letters. We need we need the support from the public to say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Figure it out. You know what I mean? We need a direction on, hey, this is what's happening. Because until you know what's happening, you can't fix it. So we need people like you to show up. We need your letters. So if you can get some support, but I'm telling you, Dave Morris is going to be your key. Because he's the president of the council right now. And he's a really smart man.
You're right, I know him. But that still, at this point in time, doesn't answer my problem that I have every day. And we are our tax dollars, and please don't take this wrong, this is not a complaint session. We need to fix the problem, because I'm tired of the problem. But our tax dollars, we were having a big fit in the town about adding $10 a month or whatever for trash pickup, which is essential. And I understand that. But you know what? We have animals out here, and people going to get, like maybe some already have. I don't know. I just live in one little section of town. But if we can talk about that, and we can talk about mileage on how many miles we put on golf carts or whatever else, why can't we have a report from someone that says, this is how many miles, so people know. So I would like to know how many miles this man travels, how many calls he's done, and I know how many after hours he does, because it's, mine are all after hours, because like I said, dogs don't read time, they're not like here on the highway.
Right.
We don't allow deer on the highway, well, they can't read that. But we definitely need to do something, and I definitely would love to help, so I will do whatever, but I want to know what someone is going to do to fix my problem. I can't continue on like this.
Well, the chief and the assistant chief are in the audience and have heard every word, so I'm sure that we will work out a solution and try to figure out at least your area and try to figure something out for you in the time being while we're forming a committee, because I think that's a great idea, and then talking with the council. So if you can talk with Morris, that would be great. That'd be a great.
Happen to be
Oh yes, Councilman Petey has also been involved with some dog issues, which he's in Ward 4, so that's on the other end of town. So as another council member that you would have on your side.
Mayor, I was going to say this. Councilman PD has contacted me several times. He was looking, there's another issue too, the city ordinance as well, which Mr. Lino, I'm sure we spoke about that as well. So you have the other side of it is the city ordinance that goes along with the dogs. So I don't know if the assistant chief I should spoke to you about that the other day. I wasn't available that day. Speaking with animal control, he's only been called there one time. Ryan, what, you said one time since?
It was probably the beginning of the year when I was in the snow, and we had snow.
So,
I haven't been called.
So, again, it's not taking away from anything that's going on. If dispatch isn't getting him the information or relaying the call to him, he's not going to go up there. So that's the problem that I'll speak to Commissioner about as far as dispatching those calls for service, why they're not being relayed to the citizen complaints or calls regarding the animal control.
Dispatchers are not city employees, are they?
No, sir.
It's county employees.
That's correct.
I have called every time that I have had the animal picked up. I have called to let them know, and the first thing is their mouth. And I understand that everybody's got a job to do, and they're doing it within their job description. It is. I'm sorry, the animal control officer goes out work at 4, you will have to hold the dog.
Who owns the dog?
I don't know what his name is. I don't go down there because they are kind of hostile.
One of the problems we have.
I know where the animal belongs, I just don't know the name.
I understand. I'm telling you, one of the practical problems we have is people are upset. I would be upset, and I would take stronger action than you've taken if I had a dog in my yard all the time like that. But we've had a problem every time you try to prosecute. People don't want to get involved. I don't want to testify against my neighbor. It's their dog, and they'll be mad at me. And so then you take it, if I want them to go to court, I want some finality, and once these things done, and I'm concerned, one of the things we're talking about in the ordinances is putting in there $500. You take them to the panel, they don't get it released. And if it's executed 3-5 days later, so be it. There's a way to take care of these problems. And you smile and say, oh, well, but we don't want to do that with the dog. That wouldn't be nice to the dogs. Hey,
here's the dog.
There's a way to put the person that owns the dog in charge of it, and they got to take responsibility.
And I will say, the monies for people to come and clean their dogs are way too cheap and need to be revisited because this particular person she's speaking of has paid this fee of, I think it's $50.
It's a $100 fine for the first, and then it's $250, then it's $500.
Right, and then we get a $50 claim fee for feeding the animal.
Yeah,
That's crazy. It's too cheap. It's one of these, so they just keep writing checks, and it just keeps happening. It just needs to be more stringent, so people really think about, wow, I really need to fix my fence. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it just repeating all the time.
Is the fee really that high to pick up an animal?
$50. His are tickets.
So he can go up and, just like if you have a dog running loose and Brian shows up, he can find the owner of the dog. The first offense is Brian saying again?
$100.
And then it goes up to?
$250.
And then it goes up to $500. So they can have a $500 fine, and every ticket after that, after the third one is $500. Now here's an issue as well, again, it falls back to the city ordinance, is there's no city court. So that's what Mr. Lehman was talking about as far as getting them to get to the courthouse and prosecute them, and then having the neighbors come in and testify to make sure that the people are held accountable by the judge. We send out letters all the time. Cassie does. She just went through it. If you're fine, within 30 days, she mails you a certified letter, and that it keeps going and going and going. Now, again, back what Mr. Lehman says is getting people to actually say, hey, I'll come testify or be a part of this case or whatever. Brian just went through a case where, not too long ago, where, did that get extended, Brian, the qualified case? That case where she's been fined several times, and now we're finally going to court, because somebody got bit, of course. But they don't want to go to court on the other side, because the dog was running loose and been fined several times. So there's not just a simple solution that we can fix today to get you the answer. I understand there are other problems. I'm sure also there's Assistant Chief Meister explains some of this to you. So there's There's a lot of entities in there. And when you have one person working the entire Cass County by himself as well.
And
That's
I would,
where we're trying to start at from there and then move on.
and I would say that he and Brock were out the other night until 6:30, picking up a dead dog in a sheet that someone had just thrown out on the road. And I'm just saying, you have no idea what these gentlemen go through, and it might not be on your radar, but when it is on the radar, it's very humbling as to what they do so kids don't chance upon a dead dog in a sheet.
I agree, and I am here to bring out two things. I would like something done about this dog because I can't live like this any longer. But secondly, I've talked to people, you all, and I've done the research too, and we all, as a community and as entities, need to do something. And I will do whatever is needed to help. I mean, we actually, like I said, I thought about this and I've looked at all the issues. It's kind of like the memorial home, which I think is deplorable, the situation that it's in. And our situation with animal control, and this isn't a dig to anybody, it's the entity, it's the whole problem. It needs fixed, big time.
We'll get our committee, we'll get Dave Morris, we'll get Mr. Petey, we'll have our first meeting, and I think we should go from there with your blessing, because we need some animal advocates. We have CASA for children. We need some animal advocates, people like her that will speak up and want to help solve problems. So
I agree.
Yeah, and I don't want to shoot the animal. I don't.
No,
I don't
no.
want the animal hurt. Why do you think 11 times I have taken my little old chain because I have an 8-pound chihuahua, so my leash is going to fit that dog. And I have gone up to it and captured it and run it over the neighborhood so it wouldn't get hit and chained it to their porch, which is a terrible thing. You think I like putting a chain around an animal's neck? No, I don't. But do I want him hit? No, I don't. Do I want bit? No, I don't. Do I want my animals killed? No, I don't. So I don't know what to do at this point in time. And I guess I am really pleased that we're all discussing this because, again, safety is a major issue, and then there's going to be liability. No one wants to see anybody bit. But let's face it, if my chihuahua bites you, it's not going to hurt. That pit comes after me, nobody's going to stop him because I can't stop him.
Yeah, I agree.
And we cannot discharge guns in city limits. I'm well aware of that. So,
Well, we appreciate you coming one day.
Thank you.
And we do. I took notes. We have the information, so.
I know where you're at. I'll come.
That's right. That's right.
But if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate. Anyone, don't hesitate to call me.
Okay.
Because we need to fix the problem.
Well, I think.
Please see your phone number and address.
Yeah.
Trust me, we know each other.
I've been there another.
It's all good, truly. I mean,
Linda, if you can, the next step, can you talk to Councilman Morris about the issue?
Today, if he's home.
That'd be great.
That'd be fine. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time. And thank you all for
Thank
what
you.
you have done.
Absolutely.
But please keep in mind, when I call, someone needs to come get the dog after 4 o'clock.
There you go. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the audience have anything they would like to say? Please come to the mic. State your name and address for us. Seeing none, board member comments. Lisa?
I think we've said it all. I am looking forward to a committee, though, to look at the issue and some, possible solutions. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Jacob?
Let's figure it out. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Spring is here, I think. Right? Who knows? It may change tomorrow. All right. Miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including ADA Section 504 compliance or concerns. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 10:13 a.m.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question.
Dave Cohen's
Yes.
Chris Martin,
Yes.
Lisa Terry.
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you. For those of you staying back, we are getting ready to swear in Officer Record. What's that?
If he hasn't changed his mind.
Yeah, he hasn't changed his mind.
What is wrong with you?
That's why we're going to do You already know.
Thank you.